We might want to turn some mics on. That might help out this.
It ought to help a great deal. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we can also edit that part out. All right, welcome to Gobsmack Visual Media. Here again, you saw him. That's my guy, Doc Henderson. He's here again with me. Now, we're not going to take a whole lot of time today. Doc had a appointment, and we need to get him on out here. He can go see his dad for the weekend. I don't want to have him at all tired. Doc, how you doing?
I am doing fine, sir.
Man, you know you my dude.
Thank you. You're the same. I can't get along without you. You have some great ideas, and you're going to impact the world with what you're doing.
I appreciate that, Doc. Coming from you, that means a lot, especially with a man who has plans himself. That I love to try and see if we can, work those together. Because there's a lot of stuff I didn't include from in the beginning. Didn't want to get too much details.
Right.
But I think that some of the things I know I've heard you talk about on previous podcasts when we were working together months ago, pooling your resources as a team of business owners. I want to talk about finance today. That's what I wrote down today. You told me to pick some topics and throw some stuff at you. I want to talk about the finance because what I'm seeing is we sometimes come together and pool our resources. However, the agenda isn't community-based. It's more individual for our team. It's more like the team is finna win, but the community itself, they're not benefiting from our actions. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying, like, let's take HICO for a second. One of my serious issues right now. I don't even know what the plans are. I know that I haven't been able to find any online. Nothing that I see that they said they were thinking about this. Oh, the opportunities are endless. I haven't heard what the plan is. Now, if the plan is not a lake, bad plans. I don't care what your plan is. If it's not a lake, it's bad plans. You tell me where the property value is lower around a lake. You tell me where the property value goes down around a lake. And then you tell me what damn scientist told you that lake was poisonous. Who paid who to pay who to tell you it was poisonous, but it didn't kill a fish, a damn alligator, nobody who ate a fish out of there in over the past 30, 40 years, although we know that it was closed because of racism. You tell me who the scientist was. I want to talk to him. Convince me of that bull that you spreading out here, because I got birds looking for that water right now flying around, storks. So, Doc, I ask you, when we're talking about who's benefiting from what's happening when we so-called dark-skinned people pool our resources together, I don't see the city benefiting, Doc.
Well, you might not. See, the problem is when you pool your resources and it's just for an individual or a family, you're not doing anything but hurting the community. You must build some kind of coalition and always start with three important entities.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself, your family, and then your community. If you are in a position where you want to improve something or enhance something,
yes, sir,
you have to have the resources and economic skills to make it happen. You start this at home. The next component is your family, your children, your wife. You get them up to what I call compatible skills economically, educationally, socially. Mm-hmm. And then you have yourself and your family in a position where you can start a business and impact the community and build that community to the point where it can be self-sustainable and it can predict its economic future. If you don't have economics in a capitalistic society where you control certain activities, it's almost impossible for you to gain independence politically and socially.
Now, I don't like that word capitalism, especially now, since we've discovered this crack years situation. And here's why. I think we were kind of, raised to believe capitalism, free market is a great thing, and it's very profitable for each individual who participates in it if you play the game the right way. Here's my problem. America found an opportunity to take advantage of its sick patriots. And capitalism set the groundwork for them to put us, what I like to call, in a systematic slavery. The reason I call it systematic slavery is because now you don't even know you're a slave. You actually get a low enough wage just to pay your bills and eat to get back to work the next day. And then if you save your coins, play the game a little bit wrong, you might get up to what I like to call overseer status, and then you get to feel good about yourself. So I wanted to talk about finance today, Doc. It's because you have a history I don't have. You have a understanding of pay over the past 40 years. See, I got my start in the 90s, but you remember a lot more pay, and when those increases changed, how much homes cost, how much cars cost at the time. That's what I want to talk about today.
Okay.
I want to talk about that because you're a finance guy. You're the finance guy. So compared to you remember the last conversation we had about how much your father made, and your brother made working for the car companies. How much was his home in that at that same time? If you know,
My father or my brother?
Either one.
Okay, well, my father started off in a brand new home, and he paid $2,500 for it. But it was a shell, just an outside house, brand new. And he had to build the interior. He and his friends had to put the sheetrock in and paint it and so forth. But it looked real good on the outside because it was brand new.
Oh.
And that gave him some status in the community because he had purchased his own land. And here it is, Mr. Henderson has a brand new house. And if you would walk on the inside, you wouldn't see anything but 2x4s in the various rooms.
But it was kind of like you had some land.
That's right.
And you had a shell to work with and some friends.
Exactly right. And the thing is, he didn't have money to do the interior work at one time, but he and his friends would work when they could get some additional 2x4s, when they could get sheetrock, when they could get paint.
Right.
And he would work his other job full time and do community stuff, hustling to make money, to get extra materials because he couldn't afford it out of his salary and feed those 6 children that he had.
Now, question, you mentioned salary, so that's what I want to ask about. Do you have any idea about how much your father might have been making on a monthly basis at the time? And what year are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about the 1950s, the late 1950s.
Late 50s, okay.
58 to 1962.
Okay, so you remember how much you think he might have been bringing in at that time with a $2,000 house and land, maybe another couple $100, rooms are in, water's running?
Well, we didn't have running water. You didn't have running water at the time.
Okay.
And you didn't have lights.
No lights.
In the house. That was coming later.
Okay.
He couldn't afford it.
Because you guys were up in the Delta area.
No, we had moved then to Mississippi. Central Mississippi.
Okay.
In Hinds County. We called it rural Hinds County.
Gotcha. So again, any idea on Daddy's?
Well, he made what he considered at the time a real good salary.
A real good salary.
He made $6 a day.
$6 a day?
$6 a day. And he had to ride to work every morning with another man that owned a truck, and his job was to take country workers to their jobs in Edwards, Clinton, and Jackson in the morning, and he charged them 25 cents a day.
Now, I think I remember you saying that you guys were at the time on a plantation.
That's exactly right, on a plantation, right.
And just to kind of get a understanding, so people understand $6 a day, he was able to survive, but he also had the help of the plantation owner. I think I remember you saying he could go to him and ask for anything, and he'd give it to him.
That's right. Needed. Anything that was insignificant.
Right.
For instance, if my dad needed $200, he'd know he knew he was not going to get $200.
Okay.
So he would ask for it. And the man would say, well, what you going to do with all that money? I can't give you but $50. You take this $50.
Okay.
And he would put it on the book, on his book, the
Mhm.
white man's book.
Right.
My dad didn't keep a book because he was not allowed to keep a book, because you don't challenge the plantation owner, because at the end of the season, he's going to tell you what you owe.
Okay.
And there's no need for contradiction. And the average black person did not want to contradict what the man said he owed, even if he knew he was wrong. And most of them always knew that they were overcharged.
Right. So you had a little bit of a well, not a little bit of anything. It was basically some cheating going on, and basically a way to control folks,
Exactly.
mentally control. So what we're looking at, as far as salaries and finance, even though there was only $6 a day being made, and you did have the assistance of the plantation owner for minor things, nothing
Food,
major.
clothing, and shelter.
And it sounds like your dad kind of worked the system, kind of knew that if I need $50, I'm gonna ask for 200.
That's right.
I'll get that 50. So if you make it $6 a day, 50 is like that's 10 days almost of work. So again, knowing how to deal with him is kind of what your dad learned over time. So then we fast forward to you guys are grown, and now you're ready to hit the workforce. You said you were in the military, right?
That's right. After a while, I didn't get into the military until I
Okay.
was in my mid-20s.
So question.
And prior to that time, I was hustling like my father, working various jobs,
Mm-hmm.
making very little money. For instance, when I left home, I moved to Jackson, Mississippi,
Okay.
and I got a job first as a janitor in a church. And they paid me $2 on Friday evening and $2 on Saturday evenings to clean up the church.
You sound like you was making less than your daddy was
Most
making.
certainly.
You was
At
making
that point.
at the time. And what year was that, you know?
That
Remember?
was in 1962.
1962. So
That was
1962.
part-time. Now, I was in school at the time.
Okay. So 1962 wages are still kind of terrible.
They were worse than terrible
You know?
because, we didn't have unions in the state. And the
Okay.
individuals paid anything they could get away with. And there were so many people looking for that job, they
Mhm.
could pay their way below the minimum
Right.
in the community. We didn't have the minimum wage. There was no such thing as that. But the minimum wage, if it was $1 an hour,
Mhm.
some people would take 50 cents or 75 cents an hour to get the job. And some people would turn down the $1 an hour because many of the poor people in that area, black and white, learn how to do what I call side hustles in order to make extra money.
Right. And I think that's kind of where my grandfather fell into it. That he had a skill set that was better than just 9 to 5, something in demand, pouring concrete and driveways and airports. So he was able to do something more than the smaller jobs. But again, everybody has to have a job. We need janitors. We need people in McDonald's. We need people who are out here cleaning the streets. I don't like to look at those jobs as demeaning or less than jobs, because at the end of the day, if I need a burger and I want a hamburger from McDonald's, I need somebody to be there to get it. If I want to see a beautiful city, then someone's going to have to pay attention to the details of picking up trash. Somebody's going to have to care enough to go out here and design something beautiful enough for us to want to see. So every job to me has its level of importance. We have decided to say, well, if you can sing and dance, you should make more money.
Well, the thing is, I knew I was not going to be in those jobs long. I believe in that stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in looking at that ladder, starting at the first rung and moving up. And I would say, I'm going to work here 6 months, or I'm going to
Okay.
work here 9 months or a year. And I'm going to find out what's next on that ladder that I can train for,
Right.
or what contact I need to make to get a promotion, which meant at the time to make more money.
Right. And that's what the promotion is for. Now, strangely enough, your first jobs in the 20s, I remember my first jobs. Barely made anything. I was working at the chicken plant, I believe. It was terrible. And it seems like few years later, it was like from the $3 and something an hour to now we're at 10. It was almost like, bam, we're at 10. So did you have that kind of experience too, where you went from the $2 a day, making less than your dad, $4 a week sounded like, to catapulting to more money? And if you did, what were you doing, and what year was it?
Well, I had that side hustle after a while when I moved to Jackson, working as a janitor. I got two other jobs. One, I worked in what we call a club as a cashier and a waiter, and that was worse than the janitor job because we had a base pay of 35 cents an hour plus tips. And if you didn't have the personality to get a good tip, you had a problem because you had to work from 11 until the club closed at night. And on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, they were closed late. And when I say late, 3 and 4 a.m., because the city didn't have a curfew. If they did, didn't anybody address it and work with it. They just did. They closed when they got ready, when the last customers left.
So that was some real entertainment time back then.
I guarantee you.
So you said your personality got you them tips. That's just like today, though. The better your personality, the more I'm going to tip you. Good service deserves it. I think if they are excellent server, excellent tip.
But there was a downfall to that. Many times people will order more than they can pay for. Many times, for instance, you might have a group of 4 or 5 coming in. They would say, I need 4 pitchers of beer, which was 50 cents a piece. So you bring 4, and you ask for your money. They said, well, my peers will be in a few minutes, and we're going to stay here and get some more. We'll probably do 2 or 3 rounds. And when you get done, you might get half of your money, or when you would turn your back, they will walk out. And then you didn't even make that 35 cents an hour because the tally person at the desk will charge you those fees.
Well, stealing ain't new, I guess, and especially when you're dealing with alcohol and drugs, which we are here on the crack years, you kind of run into those problems where people start to lose that morals. They lose that care about how they affect other people. So now we're making a little bit more money. We're getting a little older, but then you went to the military.
Well,
this is I want to know how much they made.
I got another job.
Okay. I kind of want to know, how much was the military paying back when you started?
As a private, they were paying something like $14 or $15 a day.
14 a day?
Plus now, you had food, clothing, and shelter, and transportation.
That's true.
And you had money taken out of your check. You could send it to your bank or your local credit union or whatever you had. Or you can just go and pick up your check once a month.
Okay.
And that was great because I thought I was in heaven then, because I had more money I ever had, and I had food, clothing, insurance. Forgot about insurance.
Oh, that's provided.
And free transportation. In the military, as you know, when you're assigned to a base, you always get in a government vehicle and go where you need to go.
Wow. So they actually provided vehicles for you guys if you needed to do some travel.
Exactly right.
Wow, they don't do that anymore, I don't believe.
Well, no, I mean to put you on the back of a truck and take you as a unit to your workstation or to the training ground.
Okay. I thought you were saying I need to go to the club tonight.
No.
They finna give me the military truck to haul out, to ride out. Okay. So you made, what year was this again?
Now, this was getting later on in the 1960s. This was getting close to the mid-1960s.
Mid-60s. So we're going to just go ahead and write 66, 67
now,
here.
Before then, though, before I went into the military, since I didn't make any money as a waiter working at that nightclub, I had to start a new side hustle during that time before I went into the military. So I started cutting hair.
Okay.
I started cutting hair because I was living in a dormitory at the time, and I had some locked-in customers, football, basketball players, and college students that lived in the dormitory.
Okay.
And I was the only barber in that dormitory. And I started off with a quarter per head. A few months later, increased to 35 cents per head. And I had the football players, basketball players, the band members, and any other student that lived in the dormitory that could afford to pay. And many of those guys would get a haircut on credit.
Okay. So you were hustling the whole time. And I know you're kind of a entrepreneur. So let's lean towards that. Because you're a businessman, and I know you just were telling me about you had a customer earlier before me, and you have clients. So normally in that type of job, you charge an hourly rate. Now, I'm not trying to ask you your hourly rate. That's not what I'm asking.
In what instance?
In whatever you're doing, because what I want to do is do some
I don't charge by
comparison.
the hour anymore.
You don't
I
charge
charge by the project.
Okay, by the project.
Yes.
Okay. So let's just see about the fees, because I'm trying to see the comparison, because we already talked about your father's house, 2000. I know my grandfather's house, I looked at the paperwork for it, 1940 something. I think it was under 6,000. So, and that was, that's a pretty good deal. You get the dirt too. Then we go to, I remember him telling me he was making, $500, $600, $700 a week. As that's back in the days.
He was getting rich.
But they were projects he worked. So he might work 6-7 months in a row, then not work for a month. Work for a year or two in a row, then you might not work for. And then based on the season, rain, concrete, all those things change. But as far as being able to take care of 9 kids,
he had a problem, I guarantee.
No, not really.
Really?
I don't think so. From what I saw, they seemed to be pretty good. The 9 kids did well. Everybody's educated. I don't have too many stories about somebody saying they dropped out of school or we had a problem with them with education, because it's just so many different stories about how they reached out to the community, how they helped the neighbors. My mom tells a story about she met a girl at school. And, my granddad and them wanted to know who's the family. So they met the family. They became friends. Turned out the guy was had a problem with drinking. They ended up losing the house and moving in with my grandparents until he got back on his feet. So, it was so much more of a community taking care of each other back then.
Exactly.
That whatever monies they had seemed to be enough, especially to still have new cars, and you're the first one in the neighborhood with a television. I don't hear there was a financial problem. I think that the more love that they gave out, the more God provided for them. And that comfort is what I look at. Not so much, they driving a Bentley. No, it was comfortable. Enough food in the house to say, this person we just came up on the porch, hey, sugar, fixing my plate. I remember that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's what I remember growing up. And when we talk about the crack years, we're all talking about how we remember this happening. We remember the doors not being locked sometimes. We remember the burglar bars going up on the windows. But for some reason, we're having a hard time remembering what happened to the family. Well, crack happened to the family, Doc.
That's good.
And for some strange reason, it's like we don't want to acknowledge it at all. We want to act like that part of our history didn't exist. And how can we fix anything if we don't remember why we don't trust one another? If I can't remember why I don't trust you, I can't remember why now we're more concerned than ever about our children being touched by somebody. I watched a video a little while ago. A guy was talking about his addiction to crack and how he's a pastor now, by the way, but he was talking about how he used to think his mindset was everything is mine. Your TV is mine. Your lawnmower is mine. And he said his mind was that sick to where he didn't buy anything, he stole it. And he said it was God that saved him. He went into the rooms where the Alcoholic Anonymous people are, and saw him laughing and didn't understand how you laughing and ain't no drugs involved. And he said God moved on him, got him in there, and told him to sit down and shut up. And he's a pastor today.
Excellent.
So I see that it is possible for us to grow past the addiction, grow past the pain. I like his honesty about it. That's one of the things I think a lot of people are afraid of. We don't want to tell the story. We don't want to talk about it.
Well, that story is painful for a lot of people. And right now, when one gets 30 or 40 years ahead, they don't want to talk about that hard time they had during the early years because that'll demean their current status.
Does it demean it?
People to know that they were living in poverty, living as a semi-slave, totally sick mentally, physically, economically, and didn't eat on a regular basis. And then when you did eat, you ate whatever you could find, borrow, or steal.
But does it demean them as a person today? Is
It doesn't,
my
but
question.
many think
I think that
it does. And it will not talk about the time when they were at home in the early days when they were kids, where they would eat chitlin, pig feet,
hold up, Doc.
pigtail,
Wait, hey, Doc.
stuff like that.
I need you to leave them chitlins and pigtails alone. Ain't nothing wrong with them. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know how my pig got such a bad name, and y'all just treat him so wrong. I'm gonna do this one history lesson during the crack years, just because people have been on my pigs. All right, check this out, pigs. Y'all good. All right. I was talking to some older people, older than you, Doc, and I'm gonna tell y'all how it happened. Back in the days, and you can verify this, Doc, you know this, Native Americans didn't waste any part of the animal. Anything. The hooves were used, the fur was used, they used the teeth for something. But every part of that animal was used, whether it was the intestines, which we want to call chitlins, or was the liver, which some people have a problem eating, or the brains even. Everything was consumed at some point on that animal. They didn't believe in wasting nature. So what ended up happening, and I was talking to a guy who worked at a slaughterhouse in Mississippi, and he was telling me, and this is how I know we natives, because he was like a real old dude. And he was like, man, I used to work at a slaughterhouse, and they were throwing away the chitlins. They were throwing away the guts and stuff and the hog maws, and all they wanted was the hams and the ribs and stuff like that. And he said he and other workers remember when some of the elders were like, let us get those chitlins and hog maws and stuff, and they started giving them away to them for free. And then they realized that they were giving away so many of them, they decided to try to sell them.
That was a good economic move.
And that's what happened. But we started looking at it like the story was told. They throwing this away, them the bad parts. But the natives, the people who remember, the elders, it was like, this is a good part. We eat that. We know how to cook it. Like, you bring somebody over here and they don't know how to cook some grains, your grains are not good. You give them to my mama and you like, what's in these grains? So for a long time, nobody knew, or let's just say the people who own the facilities, the slaughterhouses rather, they weren't concerned with that because where they're from, they didn't do anything with that. It was wasteful. They didn't know how to process the chitlins or take the liver and do something with it. And the natives here did. So when those natives kids went to work at the slaughterhouses, they were like, well, we know what to do with this free guts y'all calling guts. We know what to do with that. So that's how that ended up being sold. He even said that's how they ended up starting to make the hog head sauce and stuff.
Right.
He said those things were threw away at one time.
Yeah, I remember all those days. Right.
So it's not like they bad. It's just how we were told. We were told they were bad.
After the fact.
But when are they supposed to be bad? You trying to tell me that the pig is bad or is it something that they experienced in biblical days? Like I've heard, I have to go back, but one of my teachers back in the days is a pig can be bit by a snake and not die. And so that venom is still in that pig area where it was bitten. So say if a person goes and eats the pig that was bit by the snake, that person dies. How do you know that that's not what happened when they said the pigs are terrible?
Well, see, the thing is, you learn things by being miseducated. I didn't learn that pig was bad until the late 1970s and 80s and 90s
I still ain't.
when I would read medical reports and hear people talking about how it will cause you heart trouble, how it would cause all kinds of hypertension. And during the period when I used to eat that stuff, I didn't know anything about hypertension or heart
Yeah.
trouble. You ate what was available.
Now, do you
and
think it was
enjoyed
the pig itself or how it was prepared? You know?
Well, it was prepared very well because I didn't ever hear of anybody getting sick or dying when they were eating that stuff back in the late 40s and early 50s and early 60s, even to today.
Okay, here, good point. All right, so Big Papa, across the street from my grandparents, was 104 years old. Loved him some chitlins. So how is the pig bad? I don't know any 104-year-olds walking around like he was. Big Mama also, they were both in their hundreds when they passed, getting around. I don't know anybody that age, personally. Now, they keep saying that medical advancements has created a longer lifespan. Prove it. Prove that to me. How old was your father? Your dad's still alive.
Yes, he is.
Okay, so medical advancements probably didn't have nothing to do with your dad no more than it had to do with Big Papa.
Well, it's probably not, but see, my dad and a few people in his category, he's 100, but I don't know of another person that's even in their 90s. There are a lot of them out there. I just don't know any of them.
So what is your dad died like? Is he like vegan now, or is he?
Well, he's a modern eater at this time. He eats things that we all eat, restaurant food.
Okay, so
food out of cans and burgers.
So he is
fried chicken.
He fried chicken.
He eats anything he wants to eat, and he doesn't worry about it.
Is he eating pork?
He does.
He does eat pork
if he can get hold of something. He eats anything that he's always eaten if he can get it.
So happy is his palate more so than reading about what could be harmful.
Well, he doesn't worry about that. He doesn't worry about what people say. He has your attitude. I've been eating this all my life, and I'm going to eat it until I die. And if you all are so modern, you don't know any, just bring it to me.
I'm really like what goes into the mouth doesn't define you or make you sick or something. It's, you put too much in your mouth. Yeah. I was watching a video the other day. The lady was like, I hadn't eaten anything, doc. And it's been a couple of days. And she was extremely overweight. And he said, you're going to be just fine. He said, you done ate 4 years of food in advance. So
I can go along with that.
So my thing was that was extremely funny to me, but she didn't seem to find it funny. But fasting doesn't kill you. Overeating will. So I don't think that the food that we're eating is I think it's more mentally destroying. Now there is some like don't eat McDonald's every day. Don't eat Popeyes every day. But here's the thing, don't fry chicken at your house every day.
That's correct.
Don't eat a pot of greens with neck bones every day at your house. Don't eat a hamburger at your house every day. So moderation of anything that we enjoy is wonderful. I think the overeating part or the overindulgence or the lack of variety is what's causing us so many health problems, and I'll speak on myself. I was in a hurry and had burgers every day for lunch for a week. Cheap and in a hurry. Could have bought something else, but I was like, this is quick and easy. Stomach was hurting so bad by that last burger. I just said, let me take a break from them, and guess what? Started drinking some water, prayed about it, feel way better. So changing your diet to me is more of a mindset. Like your dad, 100 years old. I'm finna eat some chicken. I'm finna go and put some poke on the steak today.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Doc, I don't think it's I think the food is different now. Don't get me wrong. I think it is unhealthier food. They're not raising the animals the same way. Like, farm raised chicken
Right.
tastes different than the chicken in the store. They're not as big either. The eggs that you get from a farm are different. So I think we need to bring the farming back to community for sure. But as far as the cost of living, I'm starting to see we saw a cost of living rise from your generation, from whether it was a house price or the car price or even the food. But you guys had in let's just say the 80s and 90s, the wages that we have today, if not better. So I know you were telling me about your brother who worked at the car company. They were making more than Nissan is paying today.
Exactly. Double.
So make sense to me is how can a car company in the 80s, when a house costs $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, be paying less than a car company today, and a house is $400,000.
Well, they were unionized, as I told you before, back in the late 70s, 80s.
That's a serious union.
Yeah, they were unionized. They were car manufacturing units all over the United States, mostly in the north, south, and east. I mean, north, east, and west.
Mm.
Now, those same companies, a lot of them have moved to the south. They're not unionized anymore.
Yeah.
And you will find that is the new thrust, though. They are gradually becoming unionized. They had one that happened a couple of weeks ago in one of the major industries, and that's going to happen in manufacturing units throughout the South.
And
eventually, in about the next 10 to 15 years.
I hate to say it, but I think they took advantage of us during the crack years to such a degree that the miseducation started to where, you remember, unions, everybody wanted it.
Exactly.
Now they have people who think the union is bad. But I remember too, back in the days, that WKRP in Cincinnati, I remember the show. I saw it. They had a show about how bad the union was going to be if the radio station got unionized. At the end of the show, they showed the guy who was owning the company, the owner of the company, and the union leader. They were meeting together. So the company owner brought the union leader in to discuss union with the employees. Here's the thing. They really weren't trying to bring a union in. They were just trying to give them the illusion of the union. Like, it's almost like the devil and the devil were working together.
Well, that's the way it's done.
I'm like, what the?
Right.
So right now, what we're dealing with, and this is from my standpoint, based on how little these groups are fighting for us. They claim the NAACP is fighting for us, and the ACLU is fighting for them, and the this is fighting for them. I think that's some bull.
Well, you have to fight for yourself.
I think that's some bull.
As a unit, sir. You can't depend on outside.
But those are the groups that are supposed to be the units, right?
Well, I know they're supposed to be, but they're usually controlled by the people that finance them.
The people who they fighting against are the people who we supposed to be fighting against are the ones that's paying them.
Exactly. So they are not going to do very much for what I call the average man.
They're not fighting for us.
Not going to do it. No, of course not.
So the same bureaus who we're actually hoping to police and protect us as citizens are actually on the payroll of the companies that we're trying to get them to defend us against.
Well, that's the way it goes. What they normally do is increase the salary of the executives that's over the so-called community organizations.
Mm-hmm.
They give them inside tips on investments and things of that nature. They talk to them about opportunities for their children at the school that they attended themselves. I'm talking about the big industrial captains. And they throw out a few scholarships here and there. And that person that's leading that community organization is not too interested in making a lot of changes because they would rather stay where they are and make a good salary until they retire.
So we fighting the battle, and I try to say, just to bring awareness to what they're doing, so that we, the people, can start to say, hey, we're participating in this fighting against each other. And I'll give you an example. If I'm the customer and you work at the company, you're not the company, you just work there. I'm the customer. You know y'all did me wrong. You know it. You're just an employee. You know you have the power to give a refund. You know you do. It's not your money. You know that at the last quarter meeting, they were telling you how many millions they made in profit. And then they gave you a $300 bonus check. So me, the customer, is being screwed over by that $300 quarterly bonus check you just got, that low wages you making, and you're gonna screw me out of $600-700 so you can get the 300 every quarter, but your company is making the millions. The reason they're able to keep paying you little is because you keep helping them screw me. See, had you just said, you know what, they did do wrong, let me give him his money back, you still would have got the same $300 bonus.
Well, people are not going to do that
Same
because the
300.
one, sir, that's getting that $300 bonus want to get a $600 bonus in 2 or 3
They're
years
never gonna get it.
because he thinks he's going to get promoted. He wants to get to the top of the chain. That's what most people want, and that's why they can work and take advantage of the people at the lower level and expect more pay in the future for themselves as individuals.
Yeah, and it's almost like we're working against each other. It's like and I don't like to say that they've used our jobs to demonize us against each other, but the repo man is not a celebrated job. You know, he's going to pick up someone's car who may have got laid off, who may have lost their job.
But he's not
You know,
concerned about that.
he's not, because he gets paid for getting that car.
That's right.
And so they gave us all these incentives to screw each other over. So my quarterly bonus is based on how many customers I can charge more than they are supposed to be charged. That's like, it's like we're reveling in the evil. So I'll ask everybody, because, at the end of the day, this is what this is about. At the end of the day, look outside at these damn streets. Look at these schools closing. Let's take a look around. Everywhere you're protecting these bosses out here, and you're screwing over your fellow man. Is it benefiting us? Is healthcare getting cheaper? Are cars getting more accessible to us? Or did they just say now you can have a 10-year loan, where Doc and I remember you couldn't go over 60? You remember that?
Well, when I started,
it was a 48
my
month
first
joke.
vehicle, you couldn't go over 3 years.
Mm.
My dad time 2 years because they didn't cost very much. Now you can go, like you say, 10 years, 72 months, 10 years, whatever you want, almost.
Yeah.
Or you can lease them and just pay a monthly lease forever, just releasing, don't ever own it, and you're in debt the rest of your life. And that's good for the person that owns the car.
Mm-hmm. And they got us believing that since we can lease the car, or let's just say purchase it for 10 damn years, that's a affordable deal, because we get the kind of car we want. Now, back in the days that what car notes were like 350, 400. If you was 400, 350, you was riding really nice. You was leather seats and sunroofs. I know, because I had one. And this is in the 90s. So, and my car note was 350 a month. So I'm making 10. You know what I'm saying? I'm making $10 an hour back then. So it was easy. And I was struggling to pay bills back then, because I didn't have any financial guidance or management skills. Because once again, we have to remember, our parents never had a chance to teach us, because they didn't get a chance to learn from their parents, who were struggling to survive when crack hit. So like we were talking about last time, when you were reaching your 20s, and your parents are now like, let's educate them on the important stuff. Crack's here, drugs are here, and now it's like we need to figure out what to do next, and it throws us off path. I think it just kind of threw learning, family importance, like where you would one time take your son out and show him how to change the starter on the car. You didn't have time to do that anymore. You know, mothers are now having to go to work, dad's missing, or mom done dropped the kids off at grandparents' house. And now the grandparents are we parents again. So it was almost like this tornado of negativity came, and the government and the businesses, they sat back and said, let's take advantage of this. You know, let's freeze the wages. Let's close the mental health facilities. That's the one that pisses me off the most, Doc.
Well,
Because
those
I
things
remember when they did it, though, you know.
you do remember.
Yeah, and that's because my mom used to work out there. She used to be a barber, you know, kind of like you, but at Whitfield. And I remember when they closed the mental health facilities. And now that I'm grown and we discussing these crack years, and I'm when they closed it, man, do you know how that sounds to me now? That during the time when the people needed mental health understanding the most, these low down, dirty, evil Knievel jokers closed the mental health facilities and let those people out on the streets.
Well, they're doing that today.
But I'm saying they did it at the time at a time when we had not been introduced to such see, I'm so pissed, can't say an epidemic.
Right.
We had never seen anything like that, and that's when they took advantage of us. They took advantage of everybody. They froze the wages. The government even participated by freezing the minimum wage over the past 30 years. They basically said, America, we finna rape y'all. So if they had profits back in the days, Doc, and the companies were growing, imagine how much these low down jokers were able to save by saving $5 to $10 an hour per employee, Doc. That's what I'm looking at. See, these people, man, I don't want to hear this mess from these folks. You save $10, $20 per employee
For years. Yeah,
for years,
correct.
not months.
Well, that gives you put you in a position, sir, as a what I call a captain of industry, to make more money in the future because you had more money in the bank where you can buy more politicians and other people that would pass legislation for your interests. You were in a position where you could hire a special lobbyist to go to the politician and help them generate legislation that was going to be an advantage for you and your company and a disadvantage to the worker. And that is the way it's done in all the capitalist nations throughout the world.
And that's why I'm glad you said that word again, capitalism, because it gave them an opportunity to, in your face, say, we're making money by paying people less because it's capitalistic society, right? We pay what the market demands. So the market can't demand because I'm in control and all my friends are billionaires. We're going to control the market by saying, guess what? We're in the 80s paying 20 some dollars an hour. That's going to be kind of across the board. How about we stop that? We're GM, y'all paying 30 something dollars an hour, $40 an hour to people. Hey, how about you stop that? How about you start phasing out those older workers, which they did. We're going to start phasing them out. We're going to bring in some younger workers and start bringing them in at a 20 something. And we're going to start this shift of how to never have a $48 employee again, ever up in here. And we're going to find a way to bring that on down to right now. We're going to hire temp services. We're going to implement temp service.
That's the way to do it.
And again, this is your government choosing to help because they helped, and this is how they got caught. You froze the damn minimum wage, you assholes. Excuse my language, Doc.
Right.
They froze the minimum wage. So if the government was on your side, it doesn't matter what the companies are paying or whether or not the companies are manipulating wages. The government is responsible for maintaining your wages based on the increase of cost of living per year. And they didn't do that, period, because they were a part of it. Why they had did the insider trading, Nancy Pelosi, did your insider trading and got millions and millions and millions. They didn't even tell you that Democratic lady that what's her name? Feinstein died. They didn't even tell you that, did it? Where was her? She was like the first woman elected. Where's the parade? They didn't even tell you, did it? Because they don't want you to think about Joe Biden and how old he is and the fact that that could possibly happen to him. You didn't even hear about her dying, did it?
You didn't hear much about it for sure, most certainly.
I had to Google it because I was wondering, where is she? How come I haven't seen or heard anything about her since the hospital stays? So this is your government right now, hiding the fact that the first lady ever elected to the Senate died. That's supposed to be a parade. So all the ladies out here, Doc, that's my thing. Where are your ladies at? Aren't they supposed to be up in arms about that?
No, they're not trained to be up in arms. The ladies today are trying to take care of those children that they don't have a daddy for in the house, most of them. And when I say most of them, I'm talking about 72 to 75% of the kids that have been born during the last 30 years almost did not have a father in the house. So those women must work. Many are working 2 jobs, some working 3 part-time jobs without benefits.
Yeah.
And many don't have the home support they need in order to raise the children properly, because the 10-year-old is raising all the others. And then if they are fortunate, they have grandmother. And now the grandmother is 35 to 40. Great grandmother now is one getting most of the children in my family. And she is usually old or sick or demented. And the kids are raising themselves, and the race is getting worse.
Yes, Doc, it is, and we're gonna do some things. Like I said, I put the plans into the AI the other day, and I appreciate your support. Everything you said, and I know you had a chance to look at them. And once I guess I got a little bit more confident about it after you mentioned it and saying that these plans could work. That made me feel real good.
But sir, you have a lot of work to do, and I know you're prepared to do it. You have the time to do it.
Yeah, but I'm not
It's
trying
a
to do
great idea, but it's going to take double work on your part, and you will have to gradually get others to work with you in Dirge and your activities and your thinking. That's going to be difficult, but if you're persistent, it will work. No new idea is a good idea initially, because you are the one to believe in it, so you must sell it to others, one person at a time.
Well, Doc, I'm gonna do what I can. I'm not gonna make any promises because, again, I'm doing something I don't want to do. This is not. I didn't sign up for this, so it's almost like you're pushing me to do it. I gave you some plans. I even gave you a way. Now that I got the AI on my side, I gave you a way to do it. Can you do it without my help? Can y'all get to work? I know, Doctor, we about to hit the hour, but I'm like, I'm an advisor kind of guy. Right. You feel me? Advising. This is new for me. I had a trucking company, which I really would like to get back to. If y'all raise the rates, Joe Biden, get them back out of the 1990s and get them up to where the hell they supposed to be. So I would like to ride around, go see the canyon, drive my truck through Canada to Alaska. That's my dream. Not to do this. This is not my dream, to be in here talking to y'all. Never has been. I want to go see Falls without knocking down a light pole this time. You know, so many things I want to go do. This wasn't one of them. So the motivation, and I know it says this will take a lot of work. Y'all gonna need the help, because I'm not motivated to do nothing.
Well, you're going to have to find a way to do both.
I'm not motivated to do anything.
How to do both. And that means you will have to work 14 to 18 hours a day.
Not going to happen, Doc. Let's go ahead and stop that one. Y'all going to be set on fire, I guess. Doc, I don't think you get it. This ain't for me to save me. I'm not trying to save me.
Well, your dollar has been set, right?
I'm like, I got a one whirlwind ticket to get the hell out of here.
Right.
This is like me saying, "Hey, doc, I'm the doctor, and I got some medicine over here, and you sick. I got to come to your house to give it to you."
With this new idea you have, that's what you're going to have to do.
Wait a minute, but everybody else then told you I got the medicine that's gonna cure you. They done told you that this medicine works, but now I got to come to you to get you don't want to get healed. Clearly,
Well, that's a fact. Most people don't
could want
want
to
to get
die.
here. They want to maintain the status quo.
And guess what? I am not here to stop y'all from doing what you want to do. I am not here to twist your hand and make you. If you want to share Chris Brown fighting with one of the amigos, or I don't even know if that's really what's happening. If you want to share Nicki Minaj and them having a squirt battle with some trainer girl, if you want to share that, by all means, share that. I'm not going to stop none of y'all from choosing the way. I'm not grabbing nobody by their ear, doc, and drag them to no help. I'm not trying to chase down now millionaire to tell him this is a good plan, billionaire either, that this is a good plan and you could help these people. Why would I do that? Here's the damn plans. None of y'all wrote them. Guess what? Here's some plans. Guess what? I will assist in any way we can to get this thing moving to help these people. Now, if you want me to come begging at your door to help these people, when you know you out here on TV already talking about how I'm trying to help these people, you already doing that. Well, hell, I got some plans that AI even says will help these people. Doc says will help these people. Hell, I don't know who you are.
But see, the deal is, Dr. Williams, you have to be.
Get in my truck and leave
No,
and
no.
act like I don't know y'all.
You have to be as a prophet. Your idea is to talk about what you're doing, share the good news, and don't expect anything to happen until the future.
I'm not.
There will be a few picking up your idea from time to time, and then after a certain period, there'll be a major thrust with your ideas. You come up with a new system, a new design, and that's what the people will start promoting. But it won't happen during your lifetime.
Well, you people might want to.
This.
They might
It
want to get to
doesn't-
moving because it's more to the plan than just that. That's just kind of like the beginning.
It is.
God gave me some more stuff to start working on.
But you have to work on all of it at the same time.
I can't work on none of it if you can't get the first part started. That's how this kind of works. It's like, are you going to try? I'm not going to give you dessert and you hadn't finished dinner. That's not how it works. Finish the damn dinner, then you can get dessert. I'm not going to come in and tell you, here's dessert two. Be ye transformed by the renewing of y'all minds. Don't expect me to be conformed by how you do things. Don't expect me to get in line and dance and come in here and do it how you doing it. Look outside at these damn streets, doc. Excuse my language. Look at these buildings out here and look at these people. And you tell me if I need to get in line and do it like y'all doing. No, y'all need to change. You're messing up. So if I'm a little angry, it's because first off, I ain't want to do it. I want to be in my truck, and God is bothering me because I don't. For some reason, I don't. Nobody else available. I would love to support your efforts to keep me out of this. But if I'm gonna be in it, this is what you got. God didn't send me to be nice and bring y'all no damn flowers and candy when you messing up. You messing up. So don't expect me to come in here and be like, "Hey, it's so nice to meet you." No, I'm disappointed that I have to meet you. You're supposed to be a damn leader of these people, and you out here getting yourself. All the politicians is rich. All the preachers are rich. The streets are toe up, and the people poor. And you want me to be nice to who again, Doc?
Well,
I'm gonna be nice to these people out here. Yeah,
you will, or you won't.
the people who are suffering.
Right.
Yeah, I'm nice to them. These people who causing the problem. Yeah, they might want to retire, leave office, don't ever run again, get the hell out of Dodge before they see me. That's what they want to do. Because I'm not shaking no hands, kissing no butts. Well, are we missing something here, Doc? Am I driving down streets being repaired or something? Am I seeing schools filled with books and education and the teachers having the support they need? No, I'm not seeing none of that. Am I seeing anything to celebrate these heathens about? I got a damn lake over here about to close. Dang, I don't even know what they're doing. Let me say, I don't know what they're doing. They may be getting the lake ready. Increase the property value of all the homes that surround it in a 10-mile damn radius. I don't know. Maybe those geniuses have that plan hidden secret. But I know if it ain't no water over there, then every one of them is responsible and needs to get the hell out of here, because you can't tell me that lake was not poisonous when the light-skinned people was over there with the damn yacht club.
Well, let me tell you so you know what is happening in that situation.
Yeah, you know
That
that.
total area is being and will be regentrified. And some of the people that are living over there now are not going to own those properties. And those few that's able to maintain those properties within 3 to 5 years, they're not going to be able to pay the taxes. So that will be a new regentrified area. The white folks left it, and they are coming back to claim it. And
So they're going to take the lake out, put some expensive houses over there.
eventually they're going to have more businesses, homes, and others. Then they're going to reorganize that area and make it part of the North and East Jackson plan and incorporate that area with new facilities, new leadership. And you will find that there will be a massive relocation out of that area. And the poor people that remain will not be able to stay there no longer than 2 to 5 years. As they get older and lose their jobs, the tax is going to increase, and they are not going to be able to stay there any longer.
So what you're saying is these idiots, and I did just say idiots, and I'll repeat it again in case these idiots didn't hear it. So rather than create the lake back to its former glory and those prices on those homes that are already there going up, and those people being able to maybe take out a little mortgage on it, fix their homes up, gain the property values up, and put some stores in the area and take advantage of the lake now being open and having boating and all those other events like they do at other places where there are lakes. Rather than have that take place, let's build some homes nobody can afford to do anything but lease, because right now we can't even, you got to have $100,000 to even be able to afford the $400,000 a year. And you have to have perfect credit with no card note or no credit cards. Now that's what I just heard on a second ago. Or you need to make 120 if you have a car. Now, who the hell makes that? Very few people. So what they're talking about doing is what you said, like they finna regentrify all those people up out of here. Now, these are your black leaders. Now, this is a black city. Y'all voted them in 30-some years ago.
But now you have to understand that the black leaders don't have anything to do with it.
Yes, they do.
They are not
Yes, they
included
do.
in the planning.
Yes, they are.
They are in a position where they are being dictated to.
I don't care about the
I'm
dictatorship.
just giving you the
Doc.
facts.
Look, Doc, are they honest and open and telling us what's going on?
Most are not, because they don't know what's going on.
Well, then they full of it then. If they not honest and open and telling us what's going on, they don't have the ability to come in my face and tell me this is what's happening and these people are doing us wrong and we need y'all help. Because see, what they did was basically went along with the system.
Of course.
They just went along. They didn't try to get us together to fight back, which would have worked, by the way. It's a damn lake. It would increase the property values tremendously all around that area. So they could have came to us.
Well, they did have an effort some years ago, about 15 to 30 years. There was a guy named Wyatt Hawkins, Mr. Hawkins. He talked about the economic development opportunities around Lake Hyco. He's deceased now, and he didn't get a lot of support at that time. He would talk to politicians, preachers, industry, and other leaders, and he just didn't get a lot of support.
Well, again, I don't think any of the politicians and the preachers around here in this city are actually trying to do anything for the people that is going to benefit the people. So if he said that we're going to make the lake a better place, the first thing in their mind is, oh, all those people are going to have better property values. All those people might have some money in their pockets. I won't feel so powerful because my house ain't over there. You see, his house ain't by the lake. He don't own enough property by the lake. So I'm going to deny it. Now they done bought up some of the property around the lake. They done bought up some of those areas, but now we don't even have a lake. Here's my thing. And I know you got to get ahead, Doc. It's a 30-year screwing, if not longer. 30, 40 years of screwing us over. these people, before they even finish the screwing, you're gonna be dead before you even see the stuff happen. You feel me? Like the lake could have been open within 5 years, less than 5, probably 3 to 5 years. Lake could have been open, prosperity for North Jackson. How long is this going to take?
Well, the thing is, you have to understand.
How long is this going to take here?
You have to understand that the plan has always been to generate income for what we call the ruling class. I'm very familiar with that Lake Hyco area because it used to be a thriving community in the early 1960s, the late 50s, and the people that lived there owned shopping centers, all kinds of businesses. Black people eventually took over that area,
Yeah.
and many blacks owned the supermarkets and the shopping centers, but they didn't do anything with them. They owned the big churches there. They bought the white churches or leased them.
And didn't do
And
anything
then
with it.
they had those nice subdivisions. The house cost more when they bought them. And now their families that bought those homes, their kids own them. So they are leasing them out. And they have been rehabbing the homes like they should. They don't fix the streets, on and on and on. And that means the value has decreased.
Right.
And others going to come in with major loans and investors and buy that whole area. And it's going to be totally different in 5 to 15 years.
And I'm still say it again, Doc. We got to get out of here. These cameras are telling me it's time to go. I'm gonna say this again. Our leaders are all black up in this city. Them dark skinned leaders, we got all black city leadership.
That's true.
I'm not trying to hear that they didn't know about it. They didn't. My thing is they didn't do anything about it. You know how the lake was closed, right? You know why it was closed, right?
Of course.
You know it was closed by racism. You just said yourself it was a thriving community over there. So for any of our black leadership to be in the office and not try to bring back that, knowing how it affects the property value for that community, knowing how it will increase so much the love of Jackson, like, and you got an all black leadership committee. I don't care who's in charge. I don't care who was running it. We could have mobilized the vote to vote everybody out like we finna do right now. Like we finna do this year in 2024. We finna mobilize the vote and vote all y'all's asses out. And then in 2025, the same thing. In 2026, whoever left ass is gone. And then we're gonna change these laws to make them make sense for the people and all the politicians who are dirty, low down, that I find you did jail. That's your ass. No playing around. See, y'all want to tell me how hard it is to change laws. No, it ain't. You change the people, you change laws. Ain't that how it worked out?
Well, that's the way it's supposed to work.
I'm talking about, ain't that how it worked though, Doc? If we get all of them gone, we can go and change the laws to make sense, right?
Yeah, you can. But see, that takes anywhere from 3 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
With consistent effort.
I think we can
plan.
I think we
with
pissed enough to do it.
Operator that's going to be able to supervise and delegate the responsibilities that are necessary on the precinct level up to the state level to make this happen.
I think we're going to be able to do it, Doc.
It can be done.
I think we're finna start voting this November.
It can be
and we finna do a clean sweep of everybody with an incumbent in their damn name. I want some brand new people in there in 2024. I want even brand newer people in there in 2025. I want, if you think you finna infiltrate the new people, you got another thing coming. I want nothing but God's people up in here working, good people who care about the people. If you out here trying to get your bags full, you need to understand something. Let me explain it to you. Me and AI agreed. Doc says he likes the plan. If y'all understand where these plans are headed, if you really look at it, yeah, your financials ain't gonna be the important thing anymore. That's not gonna be the key factor anymore. I'm snatching down statues, so y'all might as well get used to not being give me an award for something. None of y'all deserve an award right now, as far as I'm concerned. None of you, because I'm looking out here and seeing the world, and I'm like, they giving what y'all giving this Joker award for? For learning how to play the game. And look, we got some plans out here now, Doc. I'm not chasing down that person. Do McDonald's chase you down? Or do they give you I gave you an advertisement commercial on TV, just like McDonald's. come buy the burger. Come get the burger if you want it. I'm not coming. McDonald's ain't came to my house to say, hey, man, I heard you was hungry. So make this make sense. Here's the plans. You don't like who cooked it? Well, guess what? God cooked that up. That wasn't me. And as AI has confirmed, sustainable for generations to come. So I think I did my part, Doc. I think I did.
Well, you have, but you have to get more followers, Dr. Williams, to make
Followers.
it.
I don't need nobody following me.
You're going to need
Mhm.
someone to follow that plan that you have. You will be gone in a few years.
Few years, Doc. I'm gonna be here in 100 more years.
Your plan must have some new recruits so they can carry on your plan.
But Doc, we're gonna lose another camera if we keep talking. But
Okay.
I'm gonna say this. There's a lot more to the plans, a lot more details. This is just a beginning step to get started. If we can't get phase 1 running, there's no need for me to even discuss phase 2 with you. So as we learned recently, plants communicate. I've been knew this, but plants communicate through the roots. You know, it's starting to hit the internet now that everybody know. Plants communicate. Dogs and birds migrate and communicate. People, for some reason, think we the only ones who can talk. Well, if hair grows out of your arm and a tree grows out of the ground, then you may want to think the earth is alive. And if the earth is alive, then you may want to start thinking that other planets are alive also. And that would mean the sun is alive. And if you read that book they gave y'all, every once in a while, it says S-U-N and not S-O-N. So when I look at that, I say the times that are changing, the planet is speaking. When I received those plans, Doc,
Right.
that wasn't like I'm trying to help nobody. I was not. Still kind of don't care what y'all do. It's so terrible trying to talk to you. Not you personally, but it's like I'm having an argument right now about Beyonce and the damn naked picture on the horse. People trying to tell me that they kids, you got to monitor what your kids watch, as if they turn it off when they get in the car with their kids. I'm like, I'm having some of the stupidest arguments from folks, but then I realize it's the crack years and not them.
Well, you're talking to the descendants of the crack years.
Right.
And their minds have been messed up.
Right.
And their children's minds are messed up and are going to continue for another 2 or 3 generations unless someone comes along like you with some new ideas, some new structures, some new plans, starting with the individual, family second, and community third. It's not going to be easy, but it can be done. It has always been done throughout the history of the world. Things change. But normally, to have a new regime or a new system, it takes from 75 to 150 years for it to happen.
I know you mentioned that. I think we can get it done faster. I know you mentioned last week that the plans can possibly get it done in 20. I think with the help of this new AI that I'm learning, I think you're right. I think we can get it done within our lifetime. Your daddy 100 years old, Doc. I am planning on you being here to see this. Now give me my hug and let's get out of here.
Well, I intend to be here. I'm going to give myself at least another 35 years.
You got to be, man, because you're going to get to see these plans done. Now give me a hug. We're going to wrap it up. You get out of here.
Yes, sir, man.
Great to see you again.
Oh, certainly.
Thank you again for coming on the show, The Crack Years. I think we avoided all the hard stuff real good this week, but I think we touched on the finances, and I think that's the important part that we're going to have to really dig into. I want to give you another shot at one because I want to do some more research on how they froze those wages, how the government helped, how housing prices went up, car prices, how we can't afford to buy a house unless we make $100,000 or more right now.
Sir, you got to understand those plans happened because they were plans, and the government has always had a policy of eliminating certain people. And if you keep a person in a position where he can't make enough money to be competitive in society, you have planned his demise. He's going to be put on what I call the outskirts of town, and he's going to be ignored, mismanaged, and eliminated.
Nothing you said, Doc, sound like the America that I was that I was sold a dream on.
Of course not.
But it sounds like the one we see.
That's exactly.
So let's look at the reality of it and not look at the dream part, because we woke now and we heard the dream. You can do anything and you can be anything. But it really boils down to you got to play the game within their parameters of their happiness in order for you to succeed. And if you choose to go against that, then they'll shun you. Well, I work for God. I obey these laws, and I don't believe in shunning. So what I do believe in is giving back that karma in which you put out. So I love them, and I wish them the best. I really wish we could find a way to work this out. You have too much money. You're messing over these people. We can make this world a better place. Google agrees. AI agrees with me. Doc Henderson agrees with me. We can do a better place. Now, these people who feel like I need to look down at you. See, that's the problem, people.
Well,
But that's the thing, though. And we got to push back against it. We got to take that power from them, because if I cut the lights off and you don't have no power, how much money you get?
well, the thing is, you have to understand it's going to take some major shifts in the economies and the socialization of the world for these things to happen. And the real news is the bad news, and that is for some of the changes you're talking about, it's going to take something to happen that you all don't like to hear about. And I've been talking about it for the last 15 years.
And what is that?
And that's World War III, Part 1 and Part 2.
All right.
World War III, Part 1 has already started.
Okay.
And eventually you're going to have World War III, Part 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a shift in the population, in leadership, in the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is going to be significantly changed, just as it was after World War II, but it's going to be 10 times worse.
Now, you said this so many times and you put them words out there into the universe, so I have to deal with them. And they going around the world and they coming back.
And it's happening.
So let's say the World War III is going to happen. It's happening.
Part 1 and 2.
Part 1 and 2.
Right.
But instead of it being a world war that is destructive and we lose so many people in the population, how about we adjust that war to a war on evil? The soldiers of good finally defeat evil in the world. Ain't this supposed to be the war to end all wars,
No
right?
such thing. There would never been a war.
This is that war. This is the war to end all wars, and it's going to be because we, the good people, see the errors of man. We see the direction we're heading in, and we see that it's time to put the brakes on it. And we see that there's about this many people that call themselves in charge, and if we stop helping them, they go away. See, once we get that understanding that it's this many people, that's it. And we are these many people. Once we understand that, look, I need y'all to pick a Friday and a Saturday and a Sunday, and I want everybody to stay home and take off Monday too. We're not going to work. We're not going to go to the grocery store. We're going to get groceries and everything, and we're going to stay at home Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday. We're not going to go to work. We're not going to the gas station. We're not going to the grocery store. We're not going to spend $1. And if we can organize and do that, we're going to have a holiday for us. And we're going to take that time to make sure we meet our neighbors. Make sure we go out here and take care of, see if the young lady or the old lady across the street is got a pie or has some food or got her medicines. We're going to go and check on our neighbors for 4 days. And we're going to let the economy be the economy. Just be the damn economy. And I want to see how many of those rich people up there get a meal. Will they eat that day? Will they fly that jet if we all off? See, when they realize that they can't even cook, clean, iron, do nothing but tell other people to get this for me, that's when you shift your power. That's when you realize that the last person down on your totem pole is the most important person.
But most people don't believe that. Most people don't understand that. And they always declare that the top 10% The top 10% is the most important component in any society, in the minds of most people.
Well, I'll ask you this.
90% as the most important.
I'm gonna ask you this question, Doc, and I'm gonna hit this button. We're gonna get out of here. Hey, if the CEO never shows back up to work, does the company stop working?
Of course not.
All right. If all them 90%ers don't come back, what happens to that company?
Well, he's going to have those that 10% calling the 90% to get back up in here.
Right. So
I guarantee it.
So that's your answer right there. Those people at the top, if they don't come back to work tomorrow, we still got them wheels rolling. Every one of them. If none of them showed up, the wheels keep rolling, don't it?
Well, I want you to consider this. In order to make things happen, you're going to have to continue to roll with your program.
I'm rolling.
And roll longer and harder and gradually increase your soldiers in order to make your ideas bloom to what they're supposed to do. You want to have a lot
to do it.
That's shining all over the world.
I agree with you, Doc. I trust God to handle it. God wouldn't have sent me on this mission if I was supposed to be out here by myself.
Right.
You are my biggest surprise for support. So if God got you supporting me, I'm gonna sleep good tonight knowing that the rest are coming.
Okay.
The rest are gonna come. So Doc, I appreciate you again for the crack years, showing up and discussing finance with me. Hopefully I see you back real soon. I ain't gonna say next week, but you welcome.
Well,
definitely welcome. And let's touch on some more bases. I told you I'm learning some AI now.
Mm-hmm.
I love to get you involved with that.
I'm going to start. Call me later and let's talk about it.
Over at the Beam Path. Shout out to the Beam Path. Definitely gonna be working with them starting next week, hopefully.
Yeah. I understand. That's a great organization.
Yes, sir.
I've been reading about it, but I haven't been over to visit with them. I have called and talked to some people. Mm-hmm. They told me, well, you need to get over.
You do?
Now, that was some months ago.
Well, don't worry.
I'm going to make it my business go next week and see what's
dragging you with me over there if I have to, because that new technology bringing to Jackson, to me, is almost like the candles to the cake. You know, it's like that shines the light for so many future jobs and opportunities for Jackson, Mississippi, to shine. And that's why I'm fighting against these leaders in Jackson, because I hadn't heard enough about this Beam Path from them. I know the mayor went over there, did what his thing. I ain't heard enough about it. I don't see enough priority being placed on it. But y'all got time to go over here and destroy a lake and mess up all this for these black folks. Vote your asses up out of here. Get on out of here.
Let me conclude by saying,
I don't want to talk to them.
You will have to get the Beam Path representative on your show to talk about what they are doing. That's the way to do that. The politician's not going to come on here and talk about it. No. You need to get the people that are doing the work.
Right. We're going to get the politicians up out of here. I don't even want to deal with them right now. Every time I think about what I've seen in this city and across this country, and then when I hear them talking, and then I know they haven't came to us for help, the actual voters, then I know it's some shadiness going on. I know it's some underhandedness going on. And I know that you don't have anything good planned for these people. Because guess what? When AI saw my plans, it was like, holy moly. So put y'all plans in the AI. Let's see what Let's see what happens. Tell them, Doc, put their plans in there.
Well, they're afraid to do that.
They should take them genius ideas they have and put them in there and see if they sustainable.
Nope.
Before you run out here and talk to me about it, put them in there, because I'm going to cut you down.
They're afraid to do it. They'll be surprised at the result.
You know what we ought to do? Since I'm working with this AI now, I'm going to put into projections for Jackson, Mississippi, based on that garbage they building over there in that lake. And then I'm going to do a versus if the lake was there. I'm going to see if I can get AI to give me the two comparisons.
They will. They can do it.
And that's what I'm finna work on now. Excellent. And I'm gonna get that comparison over the long term, next 20 to 30 years. How would the city be if we had a lake over here compared to whatever the hell this is they building? And I'm gonna say whatever the hell, because you said it's going to be some regentrification stores and housing projects and stuff, businesses and hotels and stuff in an area like that.
Beaches.
Beaches?
Kinds of things.
That's about beach?
The plan has already been made.
Are they making a part of it watery where we can boat and stuff?
Of course.
I'm talking about how big.
Well, I don't know all the details. I know the plan has been developed because I know some people that working as a group of consultants for rich people, and they have already put the plan together for the whole area, Lake Hyco, the Pearl River that's running through Jackson.
Right.
All of that's going to be interconnected. They're going to have new commissions, new governments, new judges, new police, and all of those entities going to be working together to promote that interest. And the people that are currently living in those areas going to be gone.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna try to do that, but that's what my plan
Your
is.
job is to
Yeah,
keep
my
it from
plan gonna
happening.
stop that. So now, before I cuss them out anymore, I got to ask you one more question because I want some clarification. You said they've seen the plans already. You got them in place. They already got them. Is a lake over there?
Is what?
A lake.
Of course.
I'm talking about, is the lake gonna be there? That's what I'm
It's
asking.
going to be there.
The lake is gonna be there.
It's not going to be called the lake.
I don't care what it's called. I'm talking about, is it gonna be fishing?
Water will be there.
We can be fishing and boating.
All kinds of things.
Okay, well, see, no, I take back what I said. They might not be as garbage if that's what they're doing.
But it's going to be fixed and rehabbed to generate money.
Is it going to
Money making enterprise?
see, this is my question now, again, because see, don't forget now, Project Humanity plans just ran through AI, fixes all stupid. You feel me? See, I can fix the stupid part they trying to do. They ain't finna re-gentrify nobody nowhere.
Oh, really?
See, no.
You don't say.
No, they ain't finna re-gentrify nobody. See, what I'm trying to find out, are they finna remove my water from that area, or are you gonna make my water area prettier?
That's what they're going to do.
They gonna make my water area prettier? I don't have a problem with that. You ain't finna re-gentrify nobody up out of nowhere. That's what them plans are. I just told you I loaded in the AI. They ain't going nowhere. Yeah.
Well,
so now I do have see, Doc, look at you. That's how things change, and I changed my mind. Now I will get up and fight a little harder for my plans. If these embassies, I mean, even call them embassies, if they gonna put my lake, if they gonna have my lake over there, I got something to work with. See, if my lake is over here, then we okay. You can build all the hotels and all this stuff you want to, because right now them plans are going to remodel these people's houses. My plans are to get the money into these people's pockets so that they get to keep their houses and that they get the mental health they need for their families. So I'm not concerned about them losing their houses. That's what I'm here to fight for, is for those poor people to make sure they maintain their houses and that their families get the mental health they need. Now, my lake don't need to be concrete and again, apartments over there and some houses. Now, if the water's still gonna be there, then I'm gonna still have my property value. You feel what I'm saying? So all I need to do now is work with the people like Dr. Henderson and the Bean Path, and we put these plans in motion, and we fix all that other screw around they were trying to do. Now we just need these local politicians to quit trying to buy up the people's houses who already live by the lake.
Well, let me just add something to that. They also have a component to take care of that. There are a lot of incorporated businesses.
I've seen those.
Buying
50,
100, 200 and 300 lots every year.
I saw that.
That is happening.
But again, now you remember the part I said they're going to go to jail, right?
Well,
yeah. See, when we get into office and get them out of office, see, I don't like secrets. And see, if you're making these plans and the people don't know about them, you're not representing the people, you're representing self. Right?
That's correct.
Okay, so the people are who you're supposed to representing. See, I don't care about that way we play the game stuff. I don't care about all that. If you're not representing the people, you're in violation of your reason to be in that job. If you're taking money from what the people paying taxes and putting them in another location, you're fraud. You're embezzling the people's money. You're going to jail. See, I don't have time to play the game with them and shake hands with them and kiss, but none of that.
Well, see what they're going to do, sir.
They're going to do what they need to do, or we're going to have them in jail.
Nope. Let me tell you why that won't happen.
Yeah, but we're going to get the judges replaced too.
Those commissions that they are putting together in Mississippi and these other states throughout the nation are going to have their own judges.
No, see, once again, I want them to go ahead and have that mindset. And in 2024, 2025, 2026, we voting their asses out of there. Them commissions gonna go away just like they are.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about, Doc. Speaking into existence, they can create whatever kind of obstacles they want. You don't think God gonna run over them? I'm gonna show you God gonna run over them. All that bad shit y'all think y'all trying to put in place to protect yourselves. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha.
Well,
It's hilarious. But again, I don't like a challenge. I like to drive my truck and ride around and not be bothered. But since God got me working, you best believe I'm finna work.
well, you better work.
Because we don't do no defeats over here, Doc.
Okay.
I don't do defeated. So, like I said, if the lake is gonna be there, I'm gonna get off y'all case about the lake. Now, let's go and save these people houses and create some jobs in the community so that the people who have paid for those houses, who live in that community, can stay in that community. Now, if there are houses out there that already been sold, ain't nothing I can do about it. If you already decided to take the money, ain't nothing I can do about it. I'm not trying to keep it all black. I do like diversity.
It's definitely not going to be all.
I like diversity in the community. So God's will is being done, even if we have to move some people out and some people in. But what I'm trying to do is the people who are not wanting to leave will not be forced out. That's what I'm talking about. The people who want to be here and to remodel their homes and create a better environment once that lake is there, those are the people I'm concerned about. Making sure they can take care of themselves and thrive. And the politicians, if they're not concerned with that, well, they can just leave anyway. I don't care if you're concerned. We need some new people in here that got some sense. Before I push the wrong button, Doc, we've been going almost heading them to I don't have time for old politicians playing games. I don't. I do not. I don't want to hear the rhetoric. You can be advisors. I've always said that. If we deem you a decent individual, you can be an advisor. Other than that, I need some new blood, some new lives, and new eyes up in here. Period. It's not optional. They're not planning for a future. They need to be here. If you had to create an infrastructure plan because you couldn't see that in the future the damn streets would be bad and the water pipes would need to be replaced, you don't need to be here. You don't. If you're not planning for the future, not for your now, you don't need to be here. These children and this generation of children, the last generation of children, and my generation have all suffered due to no plans.
Well, let me tell you, sir, what you already know. You've heard me say it. The new thrust to do all these things you want to do is very simple, but it takes a lot of hard work. And it goes like this. You're going to have to recruit, train, educate, and place your own leaders in those areas of activity that you want things to change in. That takes from 3 to 10 years.
I understand, Doc, and if we're moving in that direction and the world is in support of it, and these kids are smiling as we make those changes in that transition, and we can see the joy in people's eyes, I'm all in on that.
Well, they will be smiling when they find out that they are included.
I'm all in on that, Doc.
I'm telling you now, it can be done.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of work.
I'm all
You're
in
going to
on
have
it.
a lot of opposition because those that are in power now in those jobs where you saying they need to get out of, they are going to fight to keep them. That's what humans do.
Well, we're going to give them some options, Doc. You can leave now and maintain your freedom. Because if you repent, I am a very forgiving kind of guy and I'm very understanding. And I like repentance. I think it builds character in people. And then for them to try and make things right, I like that. So that's an option. Now you can fight to stay wrong, and you will learn that jail is for your ass too. I don't have a problem with either one of them. You can leave gracefully and repent and try and help us out. Plans actually say that. The people who say they're wrong, I ain't trying to put you in jail. You can recognize you wrong. You was playing the game the way the game was. But you see it's not good. You see it's not beneficial towards humanity. Let's grow up and evolve. Except that we were doing what we were doing the dance, basically. And everybody was doing it. And then we realized that this dance is going to take us off this cliff. And so I stopped dancing and started to try to get people to stop dancing. Hey, you finna fall off. We finna go off the cliff if we keep dancing. And so that's all I'm trying to do is say, hey, quit dancing. You finna fall off the cliff. And if y'all want to keep dancing, you're going to fall by yourself. I'm trying to stop you. Hey, no, stop. But if you don't want to, you want to keep dancing and following them politicians, then go fall off the cliff. There's nothing I can do to change that. But what we're going to do now is I think it's enough people motivated to change. I think it's enough people starting to see how the politics of yesterday is destroying tomorrow. I think we're waking up and seeing that.
Well, it's gradually happening. More and
So
more people are seeing it.
I think it's
That's
just,
why you're going to have to tell more and more about it.
yeah. And we're going to make more videos. We're going to make some more clips and we're going to let God do God business. But God ain't never told me I came to give you hard work.
Well,
So
you have some hard work now.
I don't remember that part. Like I came to give you 40 hours in overtime, Doc. I don't remember that scripture. Like I came to give you 60-hour work weeks. No. I think if we quit being so greedy and start focusing our time on love of one another, then it won't be a desire to work 16 hours a day. You want to spend some time with your family. Like, wouldn't you love to be able to just be like, I work Mondays just to kind of be doing me, and then Tuesday and Wednesday I go hang out with dad, and then I come back Thursday. And guess what? It's not even about money because nothing's really being taken from you. You know what I'm saying? It's no financial burdens on people. You know, all of these things are possible because the elements of the world don't change. We put value on them as we see fit. So is this ring worth $100 or is it worth $1,200? It depends on who's willing to pay for it.
That's right.
So that's how we have to start looking at these things we have. We're out here fighting over things that are going to be here when we gone. The same elements. So why are we holding on to that as a valuable when you're valuable? You're not going to be here forever. I can only learn so much from you and see you so long. And that's the same thing with him and her and her and her and him. I only have so long with you all.
That's right.
That's the most valuable thing I can think of is our time together as a family. So my thing is I'm not trying to give you 16-hour work days and 60-hour weeks. I'm trying to give you some time off.
Well, that's what they need. Well,
So,
I'm going to do my 16 hours
yeah,
and
hey,
10.
and if that's what you,
Yeah, but others, I don't want them to do that. I enjoy doing what I do, but I want others to be able to work 6 hours a day
you know,
instead of 8.
I would love for mothers to not have to work. You know, I would like for people who have, kids, one parent's at home, or how about they both have part-time jobs,
That's right.
So that the kids are the priority, not the work. We have enough people to where somebody can work 4 hours and then somebody come relieve them. I was talking to a guy who worked for the city, and I'm going to cut out here because we read it too. He said that he used to work a job at the city back in the 80s, and they had like 20 employees. He said now it's 4. Same job, but now it's 4, and they make less money, but they usually have 20 employees, and they made more money. And the streets were clean, and the streets were fixed, and everything was nice. But but tell me now, that was back then when we had less money. Now we have more money and we have less employees doing less work because they can't handle it. That's because of the city. That's because of the state. That's because of local government. That's because of federal government. And that's why I said their asses got to go.
Okay.
That's why I said it, because that's their plans. That's government, right?
Let's go.
That's our government deciding to cut the jobs. When they got all the money, they didn't have to cut their employees like the company did, right?
Well, the thing what a lot of you all don't like to admit, Doc, is that the companies dictate to the government.
Yeah, I know.
The production, distribution, and exchange of goods and services. Right.
They do. And that's my problem, is we got to get rid of that system. This is the system that the people who decided to write a constitution was warning us about. And in this free market, as we call it, it's not free if you get sick. We just discussed that during the crack years. The people got sick, and the people needed the government, and the government decided to take advantage of them. And they let the companies do it too. And they put us in a chokehold of wages as prices on everything else went up. Even though the cost of goods and services went down, the companies made billions and billions on top of billions in profits, so much that the government allowed them to create offshore accounts.
Of course.
Like the government allowed them to create offshore accounts that they don't even monitor because they had so much money that they made in the because in the 80s and 90s probably from lowering wages and taking advantage of people while people were sick and dealing with a drug situation. So I don't have no love for that, Doc. I don't have none.
Okay.
The more I think about it and the more I talk about it, the angrier I get. And that's why I'm like, let's end this show. I want to go home and spend some time with my mom and them. But Doc, I appreciate you again. And
Thank you. Thank you.
And I see we could get ready to stop it at the 15 and end up talking to the 47. So anytime you free, send me a message, man, and we over here.
Well, I can work with you.
You know.
I'll be getting with you. I will
Definitely.
be able to do more after next week
Okay.
when I'm turned loose, as you know, from a
Yeah.
physician.
Okay. And we're going to I'm gonna drag you down there with me to the bean pad.
Go next week. Got to go next
Got to. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
You call me after.
I'm gonna call you Monday, and just to make sure that we going next week, because I already got mine scheduled for Tuesday and a possible Monday. So I'm all over that. Definitely.
Okay, do that.
We definitely appreciate you again, Doc. Here at Gobsmack Visual Media, this is Pertis again, the crack years here with Dr. Eldridge Henderson. His numbers and information will be available at the end of the show. Definitely check that out. Get in touch with him. One of the best speakers you can find. Plus, he got the grant write-in event coming up next month.
Yeah, that's going to be May the 25th from 10 to 1 p.m.
And
at 1230 Raymond Road in Jackson, Mississippi. That's
okay.
The JSU East Center.
And we got that address here, 1230 Raymond Road.
Correct.
All right. And we got a phone number here. We're going to put this information up at the end of the show also so that you guys won't have to just grab your pen and start writing. We're going to put it all up at the end of the show so you can get in touch with Dr. Henderson. Definitely touch base with him about that grant writing. You'll see me at the show too. Hey, Doc, we out of here. Again, have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Enjoy yourself. And thanks again, guys, for tuning in. I know it's been a long show, but hey, we'll see you next time. Love you.